Right, I wanted to talk about Voices of Healing a little bit. What we do over there is like we're not counselors. We don't counsel people. We just give voice to what people are feeling at a certain moment, and we take submissions, essays about. Right now, we're taking submissions on essays about grief and how people deal with grief, and that's going to come out in a newsletter on the 15th of the month. But yeah, it's just a place to give, people voice. We're not offering medical advice or anything like that. Um, yeah, I was saying earlier that, I'm gonna give this 5 minutes, and I appreciate you showing up, but if no one comes in and, after 5 minutes, I'm probably just gonna end it because, like I was saying, 10:30 AM on a Tuesday, probably not the best time to do this. But, yeah, I'm talking about the Substack Doldrums. The people are feeling very, like, negative energy right now, and I see a lot of posts about the negative energy that's been going around Substack, and there was something very recently that was public, somebody, being hateful towards somebody else, and it's one of the things we wanna combat is, like, before you say something negative to somebody, take a second and think about it. Do I need to say this? Maybe put yourself in the other person's shoes for a second. Yeah, that's 5 minutes and no one else has shown up. So, I appreciate you being here, but I'm probably gonna end it. I'll give it another couple minutes. Just talk for a little bit about it. Like, yeah, there's a moment where it's a silent moment, and social media rewards our interaction and it rewards having the immediate reaction. And unfortunately, your immediate reaction may not always be the right one. And so social media does not reward discernment. They want you to have the immediate reaction. Sometimes your immediate reaction's not always right. Okay, I'm gonna end this because no one else is gonna show up. Thank you for being here, Tina. I appreciate you. Oh, there's somebody else showed up. Oh my goodness, tangled words. Good morning, Revy. How's it going this morning, Tina, Revy? How y'all doing? If you're feeling sad about something or anything like that, you can talk about it here. Tired AF, yeah. Me too. Also nervous AF. I'm very nervous. Yes, it could always be worse, but yeah, this is an open space where you can just express your feelings. Why am I nervous? Because I have social anxiety, and that's why I do these things to combat my social anxiety. The more I do it, the more comfortable I become with it and the more relaxed I become. But for some reason today, I'm very nervous. I've had packages coming all morning from Amazon, and I've had to talk to a lot of delivery people, and I don't know why that makes me nervous. It just does. Good morning, Assemblywoman Deborah. How are you this morning? This lovely Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m. Tangled Words and I are actually gonna go live, tonight, time TBD. I don't know if you've decided on a time. I'm doing very good. Just telling, Tangled Words that I'm very nervous, but I'm doing very good. And, yeah, Tangled and I are gonna go live, tonight. It's gonna be fun. We're very fun people. Oh, yeah. Therapy makes me nervous as well, you're laying your soul bare. That's always a hard thing to do. The time is TBD. It's gonna just be us messing around. Uh, Tangled. What time do you think our live is gonna be? What time's good for you? You tell me. You know me. I'm up for anything. Okay, let's do 8. We're gonna go live at 8 o'clock tonight. Wait. Okay, so for me, that's we're gonna go live 7 p.m. Eastern tonight, and we're gonna do a tarot reading. We're gonna try a séance, see what happens. Good morning, Sacred Storylines. Welcome to the Voices of Healing. Yeah, this is 7 EST. And when Rev and I get together, things get weird. They get very, very weird. Like they got very weird last night, and we just thoughts that entered my head, and we discovered the provenance of a bracelet that she has. And we're 99% certain that the bracelet belonged to her father. And it was weird the way that we arrived at that because it came through Mike, Pancake Sushi. We're reading him, and I put the names Aubrey and Joseph. Oh, well, no, I'm not going to go into details about that. It gets too many personal details. But anyway, I put a couple names in the chat, and it all like circled around and came back to us discovering where, Tangled Words bracelet came from. But we're over there, we're doing everything we can to combat the, Substack Doldrums, and that's what I I would. I'm gonna ask Mike first if, he's fine with me telling you. Yeah, I don't wanna give anybody's personal details out on my live stream. That would be terribly irresponsible of me. Yeah, Substack Doldrums, and there's been a lot of hateful things going around, and a lot of comments that are kind of backhanded towards people, very critical of what they're saying. I recently did a live interview, and I mentioned my faith, my belief in Jesus as a reformer, and the fallout from that was not pleasant. But I'm tough, I can take it. But I know that there are other people that if somebody comes at them like that, and at the end, they're gonna take it very personally, and it's gonna hurt them, and we have to reflect on that. Yeah, passive aggressiveness is floating around, and people are trying to, prove authority over others, and it's like, this space was not designed for that. This space was not designed as a knowledge workshop or a writing workshop. It was designed for people to release newsletters about what's on their mind, and it's not for us to be critical of that. Yeah, kindness and hope is something you always have to lean into. Like if I c- it's like from Bambi, Thumper from Bambi. If you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. And sometimes the discernment comes in that pause. Like I said, Facebook rewards the immediate reaction. They reward hate. They reward rage bait. They reward basically you saying the first thing that comes to your mind, even if it's the worst thing you can imagine. And this is not the place for that. Yes, no judgment. The Voices of Healing is a judgment-free zone. Um, and we try our best to be judgment-free. Some people push us a little bit. Well, yeah, that is true. If we block them, eventually the negativity will be squeezed out to some degree. But there comes a point where the negativity is squeezed out so far that there's no conversation to be had. So we're trying to correct the course. We're trying to alter the negativity and put something positive out into the world. And If you go look at the publication, we've released several essays, some very positive essays, but some of them are very what's the word? They're meditative on these various psychological issues that we encounter, and like one particular, it's a very erudite article, and it's about existentialism and relationships. I can't see that. There's a difference between negative and cruel. Yes, yes, that's a very good point. And if we see somebody being negative and not cruel, we're gonna talk to them and be like, "Hey, what's going on with you?" Yeah, you can't change people, but you can counteract the hate. You can counteract the hate with love, and that's yeah. Tangled is part of Voices of Healing, and she's our resident empath. She's very empathic, and she approaches people with calmness and understanding, and yeah, like I said, I'm nervous. I don't know what my talking points are, but um, yeah, there's these interesting phenomenons in social psychology, and I studied social psychology. Um, Education was my master's degree, but there was a lot of social psychology in there, and there are these group phenomenons where if one person is negative, the rest of the group tends to turn negative, or if somebody's cruel, the rest of the group responds with cruelty. And I'm not saying cruelty should be tolerated, but we should look at what is that person going through? Like, why are they being cruel? Maybe confront them. And I was thinking of an anecdote from my own life. Um, yeah, move the mentality. Exactly. Shift the mentality towards something positive. Oh, mob mentality. Oh yeah, mob mentality is prolific on social media. Yeah, that's the thing. I think all of us probably spent time on social media, and I abandoned social media a long time ago. And I wrote a whole book about how it extracts all of this energy from us, but gives us very little back. Yeah, I block hate immediately. If it's hate speech, I'm not going to tolerate that. But recently there was an issue with hate speech, and I thought maybe I go talk to this guy and see what's going on. And I'm not gonna name names, but it was public. You see exactly what I see, and very hard to talk to this person because it was nothing but hate. Um, this victim mentality that people didn't understand what was going on with them, and I was like, well, you didn't do it in a very constructive way. You immediately attack someone. And how does that gain you any ground? And like I was thinking about an anecdote from my real life. I was at I think it was shoe show. We were shopping for kid shoes, and we were coming out, and I was crossing the street, and I had a cane, and obviously have trouble walking, hitching my giddy up. I use a wheelchair now, but at the time I had a cane. And there was an obvious hitch in my giddy up, and the guy in the truck honked at me, and, my girlfriend's immediate thing was to be like, "Fight the person," and I was like, "It's okay, honey, let me just." And I said to the guy, I said, "You're not really mad at me, and I'm doing my best." And that's all I did, and I moved on, and that's kind of how I confronted this guy, but sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes the person just does not want to hear what you have to say. Yeah, Deborah, sorry, unfortunately, that is true. We have this culture now of hate. It's okay to hate. It's okay to say words that we once considered negative. The word retard comes up a lot, and that makes me bristle so hard. Like, you can't just say that. You can't just go around saying that word because you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know, like, what difficulties that person has had in life. Okay. Yeah. I tend to give people nicknames. So I'll come up with a nickname for you eventually, Deborah. Just let me know if you like it or not. Yeah, I've had some bigoted encounters on here. I had someone DM me and say, that I was creating a victim narrative, and anyone who knows me, I'm not creating a victim narrative. I'm actually a very positive person, but, yeah, it was like, "You seem fine." It's like, yeah, exactly. Shorthand where you can, it helps you remember the person's name. Um, I have a neighbor, my brother can't ever seem to remember his name, but I remember his name because my nickname for him is Big Red Dog, and his name is Cliff. So, it's, uh, it's like a mnemonic device to remember the person's name, because I think that's very important. I think it's very important to remember, people's names, and it validates them in some way. Anyway, yeah, I've killed them with kindness. Exactly. My grandfather used to say you catch more bees with honey than vinegar. And he was a huge influence in my life. So anything good in me really came from him because he came from that older generation. And we tend to say that older generation had a certain mindset and they were of a certain era. But my grandfather, man, he was not of that mindset. Um, I remember sitting down to Thanksgiving dinner one time and they were talking about Martin Luther King Jr. And my grandfather got very upset by what was being said there. Like if he had just kept his mouth shut, and my grandfather was like, well, and he uses foul language. I'll try not to use foul language. He said, well, what the F would have keeping his mouth shut have achieved? No, that's where all my influences come from in life is moments like that. And he loved everybody, no matter skin color, the choices you made in life. I mean, I think he had to develop that mindset because I think it helped him cope with what he went through in the war. He saw a lot of hate. He fought the Nazis. I'm getting emotional talking about this. He liberated concentration camps, and so he saw the impact of hate, and he didn't want to bring that home. He could lose his temper. Yes, he was not a perfect human being. I'm not saying he was a perfect human being, but I think the hate and the death that he saw over in Germany, I think he brought that home with him, and he wanted to make a different kind of life for his family. And like I said, he had moments where he hesitated to be kind, but always came through in the end. And like with my mom, there was my brothers are my half brothers, and my mom had them with a man that she didn't really know, and so she was raising these little kids on her own. And my grandfather, like because of the social mores of the time, it took him a little bit to come around, but eventually he did come around, and it's like you knew he was always going to come around to the new thing in your life. Like, I have a cousin that's gay. My grandfather eventually came around to that and was like, "Yeah, I get that sense from your grandfather that he was a very gentle spirit, but it came from darkness." And I think a lot of my positivity and what I believe also came from darkness as well. My disorder is so rare that I spent time in a pediatric oncology ward because there was nowhere that they could, put me, and it was sad, it was depressing, and one of my earliest formative memories is I remember, there was a little girl, she was, comatose, and this is gonna make me emotional too, and her mother was, singing a Phil Collins song to her, and it was a sad moment, but it was also a beautiful moment because you could sense the peace in the room at that moment, and it's like, of all things, a Phil Collins song, like, and, that's what influenced my sense of compassion, and that's why I think life is too short for us to go around hating each other. It's very easy to hate because hate goes with the crowd, love marches against it, and I don't like to get political, but what's going on in this country right now, it's time for love, and I love the Substack community when it's at its best, and when it's at its worst, I can feel the energy go out of the room, and I can feel people responding that to that. They write less, um, they interact less because somebody comes along. Thank you for being here, Deborah. I'm gonna end this really quick anyway. Yeah, it doesn't serve you in any way, does it? The bitterness and the hate. It actually harms you in the long run. It makes you reticent of community and things like that. Like, you don't wanna join the group, you don't trust anybody because, you when you hate, you divide people into camps. Bye, Deborah. Thank you for, showing up this morning. And I'm gonna sign off. I'm at 25 minutes. I just wanted to do a brief, focus on that and focus on positivity and, you know, the people on Substack who feel like they're against a wall, you're not against a wall. If you feel like you're against a wall, just contact me. Send me a DM. It's at MacDevlin. That's MacDevlin, and just at me, and I will talk to you. I've been through everything that you can imagine, and yeah, and Tangled will do the same, and, I'm not gonna speak for anybody else, but, I've been through it. If you feel like you're dealing with something that's too hard to express or somebody's gonna judge it, I've been through it, and I just I wanna make my time on this earth good. I wanna leave there's a saying, that our wise ancestors plant trees in whose shade they will never sit, and that's kind of what I'm gonna leave behind on Substack. I don't care about numbers. I just want people to find a little bit of hope and to believe that it's not all bad. This is from Ted Lasso, by the way. I've had people ask me, "Is that, Christian symbolism?" And I'm like, "No, it's Ted Lasso." And the underlying message is believe. Believe in yourself, believe that goodness is possible, believe in your friends, believe in your family. If you believe in people, they will do amazing things in your life. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's everybody's gonna do an amazing thing in your life. Some people are gonna leave a scar. I have scars from people in my life too, but just believe in yourself, and before you judge, believe in others. Exactly, sacred storylines. That's the only real legacy that I think is worth it is integrity, honor, and kindness. Yeah, belief is contagious in good and bad ways, you know? Sometimes we focus on an erroneous belief about a certain person. I've done this myself, and then that person shows me who they really are, and I'm like, wow, that person that I had judged so harshly actually has a very beautiful heart. underneath the performance of social media. And that's why Substack was created, is to like push back against the social media narrative where nobody's reading what you're saying, and giving you all of the tools to get your voice out there. And that's the beautiful thing about it. So anytime I see someone trying to shut down somebody else's voice, whether they're speaking from authority, whether they're speaking from hate, I'm going to stand up for that person. Yeah, it's very easy to judge even if you don't mean to do it. But give someone 10 seconds of your time and they may change your mind. That's my philosophy. Okay, that's half an hour. I'm going to sign up. Sign off, not sign up. I'm not signing up for anything. I'm not a joiner. But yeah, I'm gonna sign off and thank you everyone who showed up this morning, all four of you, five of you. Um, it has been my honor and privilege to speak with you this morning. And I am gonna post this later as a video and hopefully it'll reach more people. But if I reached one person today, that's great. If you reach one person today, that's also great. Just keep reaching out. Okay, guys, that's it for me. I'm gonna take off. And check out Voices of Healing by Rev, by Sacred Storylines, by Tina. Thank you all for being here. Deborah already left.